What's up, people? We are back with another video. Today we are looking at the Thabo Bester issue. As you are aware, he was back in court yesterday, and Thabo Bester being Thabo Bester is full of drama, so you, you always know that he's gonna always wanna speak and be seen. So yesterday he came without a lawyer, and he was doing it himself. So I suspect that he does not have money to pay for his lawyers because they don't come cheap. But now he doesn't want to admit that because he doesn't want to be seen as being a poor man. So he'd rather embarrass himself and quote incorrect stuff and so on. So in the process of speaking for himself, he quoted some cases in America and obviously in Belgium, of which was irrelevant since those cases are not part of South Africa, so they are not relevant to our judiciary. So he wasted his time and also the court's time. And then the urgent application for the access to a laptop and the internet failed dismally as the judge agreed only to give him access to physical legal resources, but not electronic material, meaning that he can only have books where he can read anything that you want to read about the law or case study, but not the laptop, because we know what exactly happened the last time Thabo Bester had access to the laptop. Firstly, he committed lots of scams while in prison. Obviously, he ran his business while in prison, and also he was able to communicate with other criminals outside of prison, and then he was ultimately able to escape because was able to communicate with people from the outside. So a laptop is a no-no for Thabo Bester. I think the judge was sober-minded because this man can't be trusted. And then Thabo Bester told the judge that he wants to access the electronic devices and the material in order for him to prepare adequately for his upcoming hearing on deportation. And he said the main application of a person who was deported out of Tanzania, which the team was allegedly deported using fraudulent documents. He said, "My Lord, I'm challenging the lawfulness of my imprisonment and my deportation and arrest in Tanzania. I'm not able to represent myself while having a lack of legal resources." And then again, Thabo Bester tried to argue that it was his constitutional right to have an access to a device and material, which the judge stopped him and asked him a very basic question. She first told him that you don't have a constitutional right to a laptop or a modem. Show me where in the Constitution where it says we have a constitutional right to a laptop or a modem. And Thabo Bester could not answer. He just stood there for about 5 seconds and then mumbled something. And then the judge continued and said, "You can have access to hard copies, but you are not getting access to a laptop. You will get law books. They are the same books that are being used by everyone in the country. They will give you access to all the information you need to prepare for your case." And Thabo shook his head for a moment. And then after that, Thabo Bester tried to change his tactics. He tried to argue that students have access to laptops, but the judge asked him a very simple question. "Are you studying?" He said no. And that was the end of his argument. And I almost laughed because at that point, he didn't know what to say. And then he said his request was not for an unlimited access. And his use of electronic could be monitored by someone in the prison. So he just meant that while he's using the laptop, maybe some supervisors or guards can watch him to see if he's not committing crime and so on. Despite the judge's stance, Thabo Bester was given a chance to make his argument, citing that similar arrangements in prison around the world was specific to, say, in England, and I think Belgium, I'm not sure, have the same method where inmates are given laptops. But now the thing that Thabo forgets is that this is South Africa, this is not England, this is not Belgium. So we're not going to do things according to other countries. And then they had some argument back and forth and so on. and then the judge wants him to stick to what you've said your founding affidavit for. So which means he was trying to deviate and mention stuff that is not relevant to the case. So the judge said, no, please focus on this because you're wasting time. And then the judge went on to say, I'm not allowing you to make submissions outside the matter. You have made a lot of submissions outside this matter, and I've allowed it. Please, can you please focus on this matter? And then Thabo Bester tried and all his best to say, hey, judge, you are biased and so on and so on and so on, but it didn't work. But look, in my honest, humble opinion, I think Thabo Bester must get a lawyer from the Legal Aid Board because things such as your paperwork, it's impossible to do it for himself in prison simply because he's not a lawyer, he's not an expert. He may be street smart, but you need an assistance, and he must just get rid of his pride and just say, please help me with a lawyer. His stories, I don't think are true. That he said to the judge, each time a new lawyer tries to assist him, he's unable to visit him because he's like kept in a single cell for about 23 hours a day. But I'm sure a lawyer can get past that law because an individual has a right to speak to his lawyer. So I think Thabo Bester is just lying on that issue. The only reason that he keeps on changing lawyers is because he can't afford to pay them. So he must just admit, and then he's going to get help. You still see the accused in the Senzo case. They have got legal aid lawyers, and those lawyers are fighting hard for all 5 accused. So it's very simple for Thabo Bester. Get a lawyer, and then state your case. But even after he's done with this case, let's just assume that they say, okay, you can have an access to a laptop for about 2 hours, 3 hours. It will not assist him in getting out of prison because he's serving life sentence. So whatever is he trying to fight, it's just fruitless because ultimately he's going to have to spend the rest of his life in prison. And then let's just assume that he's found guilty in this case of escaping because he's obviously guilty. It's clear because he was supposed to be in prison, but then he chose to get out illegally. So I think the court is going to add some more years on top of the life sentence. So I think he's screwed. So all this effort that he's trying to put, it's just a waste of time and energy. And I suspect, I'm sure that he's going to try and escape once again because life in prison, it's not for Thabo. He's used to luxurious stuff. So now, you remember that he complained when he was initially sent to Hosimamburu. He said he didn't like the kind of food that they were giving him. He wanted to eat pizza and so on, and then he was told that prison food is prison food, and you are not allowed to eat pizza. So I suspect that he's going to try to escape once again. But this time, it's going to be really hard since he's on watch for about 24 hours a day. So he should just get used to it and then accept that he's in prison for life. And as a country, we've got much more important cases than dealing with Thabo Bester. So all his applications are just a waste of time. His time, most importantly, his time, because all this is just for nothing. I just hope that someone will tell him. The only person that needs to fight is Nandi Pamakudumana, since she does not have previous criminal convictions. So as for Thabo, it's a waste of time. But in the end, we'll see what happens and hope that they do arrest the main men that helped them to escape. Because I don't believe that there was no senior management that also were part of this orchestration. So this investigation of Thabo Bester, I don't think it's yet complete, as there's no major person that has been arrested. But this country, that is a